don't know if I really love this decision.
Over the middle, got his man, and look at him go! Jalen Waddle for the touchdown!
Welcome to Inside Leverage, your gateway to the fascinating realm of the Miami Dolphins. Join us as we delve deep into the team's dynamic Super Bowl journey. We invite you to share your most scorching takes, unwind, and relish in our captivating experience.
Blocked by Armstead. Going, he's got him! He's got him! Tyreek Hill! And the Dolphins have come back!
A big play on the first one! Home run! Play one! To the house! What a start for the Dolphins!
It's Inside Leverage. We always gonna put on a show, baby. That's what we do.
Hey, Matty, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you taking your time out to come talk this matchup between the Patriots and Dolphins. I'm Ennis. You have Junior, who's Finn's mechanic, and Coach, and French are all here. We're missing some guys, but it'll be all right. But appreciate you taking your time out. Can you just give us a little introduction of yourself? How you got started and where we can find you?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Coach, for reaching out. Was not expecting to hear from a Dolphins fan all week. Hey, come talk Patriots Dolphins and have it be nice, given how the Patriots and Dolphins have been for the past couple of years. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Matthew with 3 T's _Jordan. I'm a contributor for musketfire.com, which is a fan-sided website specifically covering the New England Patriots. I'm born and raised right in Massachusetts. Yes, I don't have the accent. It's disappointing, I know, but I've been following this team my entire life, and this is the first season I've truly struggled being a Patriots fan, and now covering the team too. It's just an extra layer of. Let's see, what word can I say here? I don't even know what word to say here, but let's call it a roller coaster that doesn't seem to get any better, except for this most last Sunday, of course.
Yeah, something you're not used to, and I get it, man. Well, I don't get it, but now you can kind of see how we feel when you guys been dominating that AFC East for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit. But,
just a little bit. We had a hiccup in 2008 when you guys won the division when Brady went out with his ACL that year, but
yeah. But man, appreciate you.
Of course. The second I saw this, I had to jump right on it.
So just wanted to kind of actually start off with the Bills game. Wanted to kind of get your quick thoughts on most considered an upset, which I think you guys are showing now. The offense is humming a little bit, defense is showing out. Kind of your overall thoughts on the Bills game.
All right, so here's the thing. I had said there's a chance they might actually win this game because bad teams win games that they're not supposed to. They get 1 or 2 of those games a year where they win, and everyone's like, "Oh, what happened there?" And that's exactly what happened here. I mean, Buffalo, they played down to bad teams that they face, so I kind of thought there's a chance here since Buffalo doesn't play bad teams good like they should. This was the best the Patriots have looked all season so far. Mac went 25 for 30 that day, 279 yards and 2 touchdowns, and most importantly, something that he did not do that he normally does is that he did not turn the ball over. Putting Michael Wenu at right tackle was probably the best decision the Patriots have made all season long because the offensive line, I think, gave up only 1 sack that day. That was late in the fourth quarter, end of the third, early fourth. That was it. This was the most complete they've looked this year. We've now seen the rise of Jabril Peppers in this game. He had that early interception, almost had another one that was, that weird end of the game sequence with the Bills where they had like that phantom timeout and then some other weird things with the refs were helping them out with. But this was the most complete that they've looked, and now they've got some momentum that I did not expect for them to have going into this game against Miami because when I saw the schedule come out earlier this year and I saw Buffalo followed by Miami, I said, oh, great, back-to-back losses right there. Was not expecting to be in this position where we have a win and suddenly there's momentum on our side going into a place that we normally do not win at, which may be giving a little bit false confidence to the team. But defense needs to clean some stuff up this week, especially now they got to go up against Tyreek Hill, not having Christian Gonzalez anymore. No Matthew Judon, obviously still nursing that injury as well. But this game, I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive than what I would have thought about 2-3 weeks ago.
Well, I think if we was coming off a win, I agree. But us coming off that Eagles loss, I think our team is kind of pissed off, and I'm sorry that your team is going to get the brunt of that frustration taken out on.
Oh yeah.
But my question is this: like a lot of us had y'all finishing second, of course, behind us in the division.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us
really.
Yes, we had the Bill demise. We knew that I was one that didn't believe Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to make it. I said 4 games. I didn't think it was going to be 4 snaps. My people will tell you, I said, me living in New York and that AstroTurf, and he's never played on AstroTurf like for his career, like being that old. I just didn't, that line, I knew he wasn't going to make it. But my question was, we thought with the OC finally, we knew what happened last year. And a lot of us was like, man, Mac just need an OC. Like with Josh McDaniels, everybody was raving about him when he the first year because he did look decent. I'm not, I'm being biased. I'm not trying not to be. I'm trying not to be biased if that's the right word because I'm a dog. Like he played good. Like I know y'all are enemy, but I give props for him. He played good his rookie year. A lot of
He did look good his rookie year.
Right. Don't like for us to say that, but inside leverage, we talk X's and O's. Like if a player's good, we got to give him his flowers. Like whether he's on our team or not. So he did look good the first year. Then we know what happened last year. So a lot of us was like, with Bill O'Brien, we know he's a capable OC. Like the head coaching is questionable. So we had Mac playing better, and with Bill, and that we know what that defense brings every year. We had y'all finishing second. Like we know y'all beat up on Josh Allen. We know y'all own the Jets, and then we have our battles or whatever. So, what do you think? Like, was the slow start? Was it just the chemistry with him and Bill O'Brien, the OC, or was it the guys? Because, like you said, it was his best showing, and 2 weeks before that, he only scored 3 points in each game. Like, so I just want to get an insight from your opinion. What do you think? Was it just the Bills? Because I said this. I'm sorry to be long. Like, I just want to get all mine out because then other people can go. I said y'all was going to run for 200 yards without because they didn't have Milano and they lost Daquan Jones, I think his name was, in the middle. I said that before y'all game. I had y'all winning when a lot of people were like, nah, the Bills going to run. I was like, bro, Bill's going to run the ball all over that defense because they're weak on run defense before those guys was out. And now they have 2 of their best run defenders out. Like, Bill's just going to run the ball, especially the way Mac was playing before the game. I'm like, there's no way. But then Mac played a good game. So do you think they're finally hitting rhythm, or is it the Bills just that bad on defense and people are not saying that because it's the Bills?
Well, I think the slow start for the Patriots this year, I think it's been multiple things. I think it's getting used to Bill O'Brien's offense. I think it's also that they tried to build a running offense in a passing league, which was just a dumb idea to begin with. Let's see. What else was there? The O-line is more feeble than a cardboard box. It was, a combination of things. And then I think this past week, putting Michael Onwenu at right tackle, putting him there, I think something clicked. Something finally worked, which I don't get why it took this long, because considering if you look back at week 1 against the Eagles, they looked good week 1 against the Eagles. That's the thing. So I thought, all right, this was just a tough loss for the Patriots. But then, week 2 happened with you guys. Week 3, it's just bad. It's been bad ever since week 1. And then, of course, Sunday. So I think it's a combination of things. And another thing, too, about that Bills game, just to jump back to quickly, I think if they had Ed Oliver, this would have been a completely different game for the Bills as well. They did not have him. He's one of the best defensive linemen. So not having to deal with the pressure that Ed Oliver brings was also a relief. But I think, we'll see really what this Patriots team is going to be capable of after Sunday in Miami, which is, again, normally a place that is a scheduled loss year in, year out. I did see that you guys also do have a couple injuries, so maybe not everyone who I'm worried about on the Dolphins roster is going to be 100%, which could benefit the Patriots, but at the same time, it's the story of the Patriots this year is, shoulda, coulda, woulda, kind of.
Yeah, appreciate it. Go ahead, French. Then coach.
Hey, Matty B. Question: You talked about Mac Jones and his turnovers. Is there one thing you could point to specifically that contributes to those turnovers, whether it's just for O-line play or just bad decision making, or is it a combination of both? Is it one thing you could point at?
I think it's a combination of both. Again, offensive line is doing horrible this year, except for this past week at holding defenders from getting into Mac and having the pocket collapse immediately. He makes some bad calls. Specifically, I'm thinking immediately in Dallas. He got lucky with one pass, throwing it across the field, having it be a complete. I think it was to Kendrick Bourne that play, and Kendrick Bourne ran, I think, like 5-6 yards with it. Then he does it again, and it's a pick six. He's thrown into double, triple coverage. Another thing that he tries to do too much when there's a simple solution where he could just throw the ball away. And sometimes he doesn't do that. He tries to force plays. And I've been notorious for saying this, especially this year. It's year 3. He needs to stop looking like a rookie that is bad, not his rookie season, because his rookie season was great. But I don't think he sees the field 100% still, and it's year 3. And I think part of the reason why his development is also not good is that Belichick has set him up to fail, just like how I'm going to say this out loud. He set Cam Newton up to fail. Belichick has also set Mac Jones up to fail. Yes, he had that offense, that offseason where he splurged on the offense, got Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, and everyone, Kendrick Bourne and everyone. Yes, we have Devontae Parker, but the deadline coming up, I think a wise decision would be to trade Parker away because he's been kind of useless this year. It's just Mac. It's year 3 and he's still looking like a lost puppy in the backfield, which he shouldn't be. So it's a combination of the offensive line and just him not reading the field 100% still in year 3 of his career, which should not be happening.
Coach,
how you doing, brother?
Doing good. How we doing?
All right, man. Listen, I gotta ask you a question. I know a couple of days ago, some information was, I wouldn't say leaked, but shared that that Belichick signed this multi-year deal to stay on, and considering that this year is shaping up to be the worst of his 24-year coaching career, I guess what are the rumblings out in Patriots Nation as far as him being kept on as a coach and I guess GM?
So immediately, the one thing we're all wondering is why now? Why is this information coming out now about Belichick's new lucrative deal that, by the way, we still don't know the exact details of how long he's here for, how much money he's making. We don't know any of that still, which is kind of crazy to think about. The immediate response to this was get rid of his GM powers immediately. When you look at the NFL draft, for example, with Belichick, he loves to trade down. And right now, Patriots are projected, I believe, they have the 6th pick right now. Belichick's going to try to trade down with that pick. It's a miracle that he picked Mac at, I think it was pick 15 or 14 that year when he came into the league.
Right.
Other than that, it's like keep him at coach for now, but it's not keep him on a short leash at coach, but just all right. I think it's more once we see how long this deal is for. I think there'll be more of a, all right, this is good or this is bad, because Bill Belichick, the coach, is a brilliant coach. Yes, he had Tom Brady, of course, and now he's struggling without Tom Brady. But naturally, when you go from having the greatest quarterback of all time to, Cam Newton and Mac Jones, of course, there's going to be a little bit of a struggle there. But it's just the reaction is just pray to God. In the offseason, we hear that there's going to be he's not going to be the GM anymore, and that he's just going to strictly be the coach. Because I think as the coach, fine. He's done pretty well. 6 Super Bowls. I think is okay, I think, in the NFL.
Right.
But as a GM, it's time for him to go. That's been the general consensus this year.
Second part of the question: do you think he's going to relinquish those powers easily, or like what do you think will happen there?
I don't think he relinquishes the powers at all. I think he doesn't go down without a fight with this. I think Belichick is someone that's going to want control of his team since he is the coach of the team. He wants to build his team. Don't get me wrong. The man can build a defense. Absolutely. He can build a defense. He can take building blocks and turn them into stone. But when it comes to offense, great example is this year's offense. Not great. You have a young quarterback in Mac Jones who has struggled, notoriously struggled, and you still do not have a number one receiver for him. When you look at, let's look at Tua, for example. Went out to go get Tyreek Hill. You also have Jalen Waddle. You have two receivers who are number one receivers, in my opinion. I think Jalen Waddle is not there yet, but he has the potential to be a number one receiver for whenever Tyreek Hill just decide to move on. And you look at Josh Allen; they went out and got Stephon Diggs. I don't get why we went out and signed Juju Smith-Schuster when he's struggling.
You're being nice. You're being nice.
That's the nice word. That's the nicest word I can say there.
And before we go to Finn's mechanic, I want to say that the accent is starting to come out a little bit. So
yeah, once I get going, the accent's gonna.
Yeah.
Well, Wally was next. Go ahead, Wally.
Hey, Wally.
He just wants to come in here, ask 3-4 hour questions, and still like, bro, like, shut up, man. Like, come on, man, shut
Some
up.
of us are trying to work.
Shut up. Second of all,
barbecue to do.
I feel like you guys. First of all, I feel like you guys over here. I'm not even a Bill Belichick apologist, and I feel like you guys forgot what the man did. He built your offense. He built your defense. Your owner is cheap as hell. No one knows. Like, everybody talks about Bill Belichick, but he's not the one cutting the checks. When was the last time you splurged on anything?
What was that? 2021? When we?
Like I said, like people, like I wasn't even gonna talk about Bill Belichick, but as an outsider looking in, y'all don't spend no money. Y'all never spend money. Your last time y'all spent money was Randy Moss. Like for real. Let's like Bill Belichick has been your GM building that team with nothing. Like just he's been doing the same thing that he do with nothing and win championship, just like the Heat. Like on some real, I'm not even a Bill Belichick fan, but bro, like he's been the GM of that team. He's built offensively, defensively. Your coordinators don't work anywhere else but in the Patriot land. So that means that's Bill Belichick really winning that team. So we can't. Nobody has bro. Nobody in Boston should fix their lips until that man relinquish any type of power when he's been doing that. If you want to talk about somebody, fire Robert Kraft, because he's the one that's being cheap. Hey, Tyreek was out there, how come we didn't pay Tyreek? Bill Belichick don't cut the checks. It's Bill Belichick. So now that we got that out of the way, I hate you, Coach.
That's right. Cowboys fan trying to fire Jerry Jones. Wally.
Yeah, like, bro, like,
what are we doing here, bro? What are we?
Like, bro, what are we doing? But look, how you guys improved from the week that we beat you guys to today? Because I seen a better. I feel like you guys are getting more comfortable. Defense is always good, but the offense is catching a stride. I still don't trust Mac Jones, but hey, man. But how you guys improved to today to like this weekend and probably have a chance to beat us?
I think again it goes back to offensive line. I think they finally found the right combination to have on the offensive line. I think it starts with that because it's easy when you look at a struggling offense. It's easy to point the finger at the quarterback and blame the quarterback and everything. And granted, like Max had his problems. I certainly don't trust the guy still. He had one good game this year so far. It's if you don't have an offensive line, you're not going to have a good offense. That's the thing. You could have, we could have had Tom Brady in his prime, Randy Moss in his prime. Who are the good receivers at the time? I don't know. Santonio Holmes in his prime, just naming random guys. And let's throw Tony Gonzalez in there as well, not Gronk, just to change it up there. We could have all of them in their prime. You have a bad offensive line. Brady's not going to have time to throw the ball. You got to give the quarterback. You got to give your quarterback. You give your running backs time to actually make plays. I think now that they have something here with the offensive line, let's put them in Miami. Let's see how we hold up against Wilkins and the rest of your defensive line. Let's see what our receivers can do against your secondary. Maybe we see Jalen Ramsey this week. I hope we don't, as a fan. Hope we wait one more week for that return. But I think it's just, again, the offensive line, they figured it out, and now Mac's getting more comfortable in the pocket. I think we're getting better sense of the offense. So I think it's been a slow build, and I think maybe finally Buffalo is the key, where we can see what this offense is capable of, and now let's see if they can go do it again on the road. So that's the other thing too. You're going to if this was at Gillette, I'd be a little bit more confident than I was, since we're heading down to Miami, which has been our death trap. Even the Brady days, has always been a death trap for us down there.
Junior.
Yes, for sure. Well, I will say this. I think in every new system with a new coordinator, it's always going to take time. So I don't want to sit here and say, Mac Jones is just not working out. I think it's just about a time, and with the receivers in the system, time with the quarterback in the system, and also time with the offensive line. Now that you kind of got your everybody in there where they're supposed to be, things seems like it's going up from here. Now with the running aspect of it so far for you guys, how's that been? I haven't looked at the stats, but it seems like it's a little bit of a down year with the running game.
It is.
Am I? So, do you see any progress from it from the last game that you guys dealt with the Bills? And do you see it improving moving forward?
So here's the thing with the Patriots and their running backs. It's they love screens, and they love short little 5-yard passes. That's what they use their running backs for. You had Kevin Falk, you had James White, who really set examples of that. Now you got Ezekiel Elliott, and you got Ramondre Stevenson, two guys who can run downhill when needed. I think they're getting more. I think especially Ezekiel Elliott. I think he's getting more comfortable in the offense now. As for Stevenson, this is just a down year for him. Just straight up, this is a down year for him. He was can't believe I have to put fantasy football into this, but when it came to running backs this year, he was one of the more popular running backs in fantasy football this year. There was a lot of hype coming to him this year, and he has not lived up to it so far. And again, it also relates back to this offensive line that's been terrible. Now if they have the same set of linemen for this game on Sunday, maybe we get the running game going. But every now and then there's a big gain. Of course, Zeke had that 76-yard touchdown called back. And then even this past Sunday against Buffalo, the screen pass to Ramondre on the game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. And the key word there, I just said screen, because that's really the Patriots. They love using their running backs for screens more than actually running the ball, because this year they have not had really much success running the ball. But if they get back to what they do with doing little screens or small little outlet passes to their running backs, that's where their running backs really thrive.
So with that being said, how do you see the offense approach this game, and also vice versa, the defense?
Okay, well, we'll start with the easy one, the defensive side first. Last time we had Christian Gonzalez on Tyreek Hill, and Gonzalez really, for the most part, Hill had a quiet night against Gonzalez. Now, we don't have Gonzalez; he's out for the year. Now it looks like it's either going to be Jonathan Jones or J.C. Jackson that'll be covering Hill. I think I don't even want to say you double team Hill, because then you have Waddle plays. You got him. Then you got to worry for guys like Mostert. Thankfully, for Patriots' sake, they don't have to deal with Devon or Devin A-Chain. But I think it's more if you can contain Hill. That's really the key right there. Is just containing him. Don't give up the big play. I'm not going to say play prevent defense, but maybe play play man and not zone this time. And then if man's not working, go to zone. And then as for the offense, I think they're going to do what they did against Buffalo. They're going to, throw it more than they run it. They're going to try out the run game early, see if it works. If they don't have success, go back to the air. Not try any deep balls, obviously. I think they'll do more of little quick slants in middle of the field kind of passes with the occasional deep threat. I know Devontae Parker, he's probably going to want to have a big game going up against his former team. But I can see the Patriots offense here just doing trying to be in the middle of the field more than trying to play it downfield.
My last thing is I thought I would see like maybe possibly what the Eagles did, which is where they kind of ran the ball, try to hold time of possession. It felt like kind of like that with the Patriots in the Bills game. You run the ball, you throw the little short passes to kind of extend the run in that aspect, and then in the second half, you guys kind of stepped it up a little bit with the intermediate, a little more deep throws, if I can remember. So I kind of see this, yeah, like you said, yeah, essentially the same thing, the same thing like you did with the Bills. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right there. Again, I feel like part of it is this the long-awaited debut of Jalen Ramsey this week. Obviously, I saw that they're going to see if he can play or not for Sunday. Obviously, you also guys have Xavier Howard, who's pretty damn good too. Two very solid cornerbacks. So if all of a sudden Jalen Ramsey is healthy and he's playing in this game, life's going to be a little bit harder for Mac because Ramsey's going to want to make an impact immediately on this new team. But if there's no Ramsey, I can just see us just trying to use more of Gesicki in the middle of the field with Hunter Henry, and then also surprise of the year, Farrell Brown, who Patriots they're getting him more and more involved every week.
Coach.
Matty, I have a question. With Gonzalez being out, who's taking his spot, and what do you expect them to do to try to contain the Dolphins' passing attack? I know that there's some question that Tyreek's probably not going to play this week, but I'm curious to see what or what you think they're going to try to do to contain us.
So we'll do both scenarios. If Hill does play this week, I think it's gonna be J.C. Jackson. We went out and traded for him from the Los Angeles Chargers, bring him back. Seems like the Chargers just did not want him, so we basically got him for a bag of Lay's potato chips. But it's true. But I can see J.C. Jackson taking the helm there. I can see Jonathan Jones maybe as well if J.C. Jackson is struggling. If Hill does not play, I think the receiver we're going to have to worry about is Braxton Berrios, I think, because Dolphins, they found a way to use him week 2 against us, and now going to worry about him again. I feel like maybe if Waddle plays, maybe Waddle too as well. You can't forget about him, of course. But, if Hill all of a sudden can't play on Sunday, this makes this game a lot more winnable, I think, for the Patriots, because really all you have to stop from there is, in my opinion, you got to stop Braxton Berrios, who's not a top tier receiver in the league. Then you also got to worry about the backfield that the Dolphins have, because I'll say you guys are fast. You guys are fast.
Yep.
That is a specialty of the Dolphins, is how fast all of you guys are. And when you're going up against the Miami Dolphins, for defensively, when you go up against them, going up against the Miami offense, it's get ready to be running sprints all day, because that's all you're going to be doing. So I wouldn't even be surprised this week if Belichick is working on the defense, not only with tackling drills, since we couldn't tackle anybody last week, but also if he's doing some speed drills this week too.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Hey, just a quick question, Matt. Let me ask you a question. With the emergence of Canada that win, over the Bills with Mike Gesicki and even Devontae Parker. Do you think you've gotten a return on that investment? How do you think that trade has worked out for you guys, or those two acquisitions?
I mean, Patriots gave Parker an extension this offseason, so they obviously believed in him. He hasn't really lived up to it so far this year. Hasn't really been much of a factor in the offense. And the same could be said for Mike Gesicki as well. We only signed him for a 1-year deal this offseason. There's a lot of hype going into the Patriots offense because everyone thought, all right, it's gonna be the Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki show this offseason. Hasn't been that at all, really, except for Sunday where Gesicki catches the game-winning pass to display quite possibly the worst gritty on the planet. But I mean, the Patriots won't be dumb if they don't ask Mike Gesicki, hey, how do you think we should handle this week? Same with Parker as well, since those two guys, they know how to get by this Miami defense the best out of everyone there. It's been disappointing with both of them so far, but again, with Gesicki only signing a 1-year deal, I feel like this is a prove-it deal, and then wait for the offseason and see what happens. But as for, Devontae Parker, his name's on the trading block. There's rumors going around that Patriots might move on from him after giving him the extension the offseason. And over at Musket Fire, one of our writers, and I agree with this, one of our writers, Sarah Marshall, came out with an article saying that we extended the wrong receiver, and we did. We shouldn't have extended Parker. It should have been Kendrick Bourne all along. Bourne's been our best receiver this year. But yeah, it's been a disappointment from both Dolphins now on the Patriots.
What did y'all see to give him the extension, though? That's what a lot of us was
I
wondering.
think
What
that's
he is.
what a lot of us are wondering too. What did we see in him? But Belichick. Going back to Belichick, he's made some questionable moves more recently than not, and I think this was one of them.
Go ahead, Junior.
Yes, I have actually question from the listeners down there. Florida-born, Kentucky-grown. He asked, "How has J.C. Jackson been with you guys so far? Ever since he got traded back?"
He's been pretty good so far. Obviously it wasn't a situation where, all right, welcome back, JC. We're gonna pinpoint you right back where you were, and you're gonna pick up right where you left off before you left to go sign with the Chargers. On Sunday, he was part of that. He was part of that Diggs touchdown there, where failed to tackle him. So he was one of them who had an off day at the office on Sunday. But it's not that he's immediately picked up right where he left off, but he's been pretty solid so far since returning to New England. He's one of those players where you leave New England and you do awful, and then somehow, some way, Belichick finds a way to bring you back and you do well here again. It's, the Belichick way is, I like to say, rinse, reuse, recycle, because that's really what it is with his coaches and players.
It feels like it's been like that, even with like Calvin Noy going back and other people going back. It's like that system. When you're in there, you're like a superstar. When you leave, it feels like sometimes it's like you're just better off staying there for your entire career.
Yeah, I mean,
so I
look at Stephon Gilmore, for example. He left. We released him because we wouldn't want to give him a new deal, and he was kind of quiet in Carolina. He was at Indy for a little bit. He was didn't really do much there, and then he's at Dallas now, and he's still not really doing great. But in New England is really where he thrived the most. So he's another one of those players where it wouldn't surprise me if maybe at the end of the career he finds his way to come back to New England for maybe a year. Wouldn't surprise me.
I know what I want to ask you, Matty. When Flores was there, was he a model Boy Scout? Like, was there ever any like incidents with players just that did come out as far as national media? But you hear things because you follow the team. Was he just a stand-up guy, and then all of a sudden he gets to Miami, then when he gets fired, all the stuff, we had certain players, saying that didn't like him. Like, what was he like up there with the players?
I mean, Flores was a player's coach in New England. He was also someone that Belichick looked highly up to as well. There was no issues in New England. I know that whole story coming out. That Belichick accidentally texted him instead of Brian Dable for the Giants job. But, he was a stand-up guy here. Well respected by, other coaches, players, and even the fans here. We were actually really sad to see him leave when he became the coach of the Dolphins. And we all thought, man, the Dolphins are actually getting somebody good here too. And you guys did. You guys had a good coach in him. But now it's I forget where he's the linebacker coach now, but
In Minnesota,
Minnesota.
DC.
Mm-hmm. He's doing great there. So it's if he were to ever find his way back to New England, he would be there would be open arms for him.
That's crazy. Well, the Dolphin fans probably listening to shit calling you crazy right now because you said he was good for us. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
He was decent. He was
No.
okay with you guys.
As far as coaching, but as far as relationship, no.
Yeah, relationship I think was a whole
Yeah,
different animal. In
yeah.
Miami,
I think
with the players in Miami, but here in New
I
England, there
think
was
him
no issues
having
with that.
I think him having the power maybe got to his head, but as a DC, like holding our defense, it was decent for the most part, and we did win games with him. So, but all in all, just I think how he approached the game, just it kind of backfired on him. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, real quick, Rich, before it's gonna take a second, because the reason why I say that because we hear what Max Crosby said recently, like the interview, and then we heard with the interview process with Tua and him. Tua's dad was pissed off and came back to our GM and Ross because they told the dad like they was interested in Tua, like Miami wanted him, and then he had the interview at the combine, excuse me, and he said his dad was pissed off after the interview because the interview was so bad. Then you hear Max Crosby say what he said. So that's why I was asking, was there any issues with players? Because, like, for me, Minka and then Max Crosby and the Tua, I'm like, bro, who else they want to come here? Like, we just heard Max Crosby because he was on a podcast, and I guess they asked him, but we wouldn't have never knew that if he'd never said anything. So I was telling our people like, who else did we not get because the interview process with him, like that's why I asked that, man, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just weird that here you say he was great and y'all loved him.
Yeah, he
And
was
here
he
it's
was
like the
well
whole
respected up
opposite.
here.
Like people really want to fight him if they see him in the street of Miami. It's that bad,
And like one thing too, to go off what Crosby said about his combine interview, I take combine interviews with a grain of salt because, I mean, these kids are gonna get asked literally anything. You could be asked anything from, all right, let's take a look at a play here, to something as far as, hey, what'd you have for lunch yesterday? It's such a wide variety of things, and some teams they'll who are, if they're seriously invested in someone there, they'll actually take time to get through them. But if it's someone that they think, all right, maybe we could snag you in the second or third or even fourth round, we'll ask you a couple questions, but nothing as major as, I'm sure with whatever when the Jaguars had the number one overall pick when they were drafting Trevor Lawrence. I'm sure they grilled into Lawrence compared to, let's see, the Dolphins asking. I can't even think of a late round pick for you guys, but a late round pick that was at the draft or something like that.
Andrew Van Ginkel.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think the Dolphins were grilling Van Ginkel for.
right. But well, my thing is like it's like going to a job like if you want this job, but you go to the interview and the person that's you're interviewing with is so terrible. You're like, I don't want that. Nah, I'm cool. Like you see what I'm saying? That's how I take that. Like they're interviewing for jobs, and for a person to say, "Nah, I don't even want," telling his agent, "Don't draft me." Like that speaks volumes to me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I mean,
French, you there?
since Eli Manning, I feel like some of these stories have they happen more often since the Eli Manning and Chargers debacle back in 2000, whatever that was,
Yeah.
forever ago. Now it feels like.
Well, go ahead, Coach. Because French,
Yeah.
French.
I mean, I was giving you a moment. let me reset the room.
Here we go.
Hey, Matty, really quick. You've heard different rumbles within the Patriot organization, kind of just how the season's gone about, just kind of Belichick in, Belichick possibly out, how the season's going. Do you foresee
depending on how this season, like Bill Belichick doing another kind of another rebuild, and what does that look like for this organization moving forward? You know,
Mm-hmm.
is this the guy to do the rebuild? You know, how does the organization? Do you think the organization foresee that?
I gotta carefully answer this. I feel like. All right. Here's the thing. Belichick said a few weeks ago. I think it was after the New Orleans when we got blown out 34-0 to New Orleans. He famously said, we'll just start over. We don't know what that means still. A few weeks later. Does that mean, we'll start over in the off season? Does that mean, starting over the following week? What does this mean exactly? We still don't know. Going into the off season, we are projected to have the most the highest salary cap out of everyone in the league going into this off season. And when you look at what the Patriots need as well, and you look at who Belichick's track record, it's all right. He can defensively. I can trust him to go get one of the top defensive stars of the free agent market, whoever that may be. 'Cause you never know anymore. Offensively, it's like, all right. First things first, we got to see, do we need to fix the offensive line? If not, all right, cool. Next thing, get Mac a number one receiver. There are two receivers out there who are going to be free agents who immediately should be brought into Foxborough immediately and spoken to, and that's Mike Evans and T. Higgins. Both of them should be talked to immediately. Maybe even, nope, screw it. Why not sign both? That would be fun, all of a sudden, having the two top receivers on one team. That would be interesting. But, of course, fixing the offensive line should be the number one priority. Now, is Belichick the person to do this? I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud, but I truly don't know because he splurged in 2021 with all that talent. Defensively, it's worked out. Offensively, Jonnu Smith, who was, I think he was our big, splash move that offseason, other than, like Judon and Henry and everyone else. Jonnu Smith is in Atlanta right now. Traded him away for a 7th-round pick. So I should truly say what the Patriots thought about him a year or two after acquiring him. And on top of that, too, with even the salary cap, with how much we're going to have, there's some free agents that we need to re-sign as well. And can Belichick do that? Sure. Will he? Who knows? I feel like it's a wait and see because we got to also see what's Robert Kraft thinking. He's notoriously said, I want to get back to the playoffs and I want to win a game. We were in the playoffs just a few years ago, and then Buffalo scored on every possession that we played against them in the wild card round. But I think patience is running thin, and for Robert Kraft towards the Patriots, lack of playoff wins. So I think, if anything, maybe Kraft might be a little bit more involved in the free agency process, and maybe he'll help lead the charge with Belichick. Tell Bill, no, Bill, we don't need a linebacker who is not that good. We need to go get an offensive lineman instead. Or on draft day, he might tell Bill, no, Bill, we don't need a long snapper from freaking Delaware. We need someone who can actually help from day one immediately. Because I'm going to flat out say this now. Cole Strange, what the heck was that? I don't think that was a good pick. He's been okay since we picked him at pick 29, trading down for him. I think that was a what the heck are you thinking here, Bill pick. So I think maybe Kraft might be a little bit more involved next offseason if the Patriots are put in a spot where they can actually do some damage and bring in some talent and all that.
For sure. Matty B, contributor of the Musket Fire, is joining us for the Patriots and Dolphins matchup this coming Sunday, man. Again, Matty, thank you again for being here.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have the time for a couple more
Yeah,
questions?
I'll take a few more. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I got two things on offense. One, the offensive line coach. You guys had a really good long continuity offensive line coach who just left, I said, about a year or two ago?
Mm-hmm.
So how is the new guy this time around? I know you were mentioning about how the struggles of the offensive line, and now you guys are kind of finally picking it up with the shifting and moving and putting guys in the right spot. So how is he? I forgot the name of the guy. I think he came from
Yeah,
college, if I'm
Adrian
not
Clem. He
mistaken.
came from the University of Oregon.
Yes. How is he doing so far? How do you feel he's doing so far? And do you foresee changes possibly to get someone that's a little more veteran, NFL veteran esque offensive line coach?
Well, it's like you said, it's been a struggle so far. Something that personally scared me this week, what Adrian Clem and Bill O'Brien both said, is that they're non-committal to Mike Onwenu being the starting right tackle going forward. When it worked against the Bills, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's kind of like that situation. It's been a big disappointment so far. Up here in Boston, expectations are kind of, they're up there. You have high expectations, and fans will have that for players, coaches, whatever, no matter what the team is, either Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, or Celtics. But it just hasn't worked yet. It worked against the Bills on Sunday, so I don't see why they shouldn't be doing this again. Adrian Clem was also a finalist for when we were looking for an offensive coordinator, which it was the world's worst kept secret that it was going to be Bill O'Brien from the start because Belichick's scared to death to hire any new talent. But it's been disappointing so far, but it seems like they might be in the right direction if they keep it up what they're doing here this week. If they just keep it up what they did against the Bills, they do it against the Dolphins, and it works. I say just keep it moving along.
For sure, and we kind of all know that feeling too. Especially a guy coming from college into the NFL. We actually coveted the more experience, and so far, Butch Barry for us has been pretty good compared to what we had. And I know continuity is an important thing. My last question is about Cole Strange, man. I actually liked him. I think he was a center, no, in college, or or was he a versatile?
I think he could play the offensive line, but it hasn't. Last year he was okay last year, but this year it's been a different story.
Right.
It's been a completely different story this year. He has not looked good this year so far. He dealt with an
Yeah.
injury throughout training camp, so maybe that derailed him a little bit. Not getting the practice time during the summer, but man, it's been ugly so far this year for him. Not what we all thought what we were gonna get. Because at one point last year, I think it was halfway through last season, we all thought, all right, we were clowning on Belichick picking Cole Strange, but he's been pretty good. And then it's just been slowly not been as great since I think the halfway point of last year.
Go ahead, Coach.
Matty, I have a question. Being that obviously the Patriots play the Dolphins twice a year, what is your opinion or your assessment on Tua? And I mean, basically, I'm talking about his career arc when he came in as to where he is right now. I'm curious to see what your opinions and thoughts are on that.
I'm gonna preface this right now. I hated Tua coming into the draft because not because I didn't think he was a bad player. I'm an Auburn fan. I hate Alabama. I can't stand them. Yeah, so there we go. So when I saw Tua went to Miami. I said, great. I can't escape him no matter how hard I try. I thought, all right, cool. Finally, Tua. Maybe the Chargers will take Tua because they needed a quarterback at the time too. Maybe the Dolphins will take Herbert. Whatever. Great. Whatever. But no, you guys just had to take Tua, and I'm like, oh great, here we go. Got to deal with him. As for what I think about him now, I'm in the minority in the sense of that I think he's a good quarterback. If you were to walk down the streets of Boston, not just specifically this week, let's say 4 weeks from now, if you were to walk down the streets of Boston and ask the first 20 people you meet, what do you think of Tua? They're all going to say, oh, he sucks, he's left-handed, he's no good, blah, 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 bunch of BS. Probably won't be able to understand a third of it because of the accents, but I like Tua. I think he's a good, versatile quarterback. He is absolutely thriving having Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. and then you have A-Chain when he comes back. You have Mostert. He's looked good this year. I think last year, if his 700 concussions didn't happen last year, I think you guys honestly could have been right there competing with Kansas City last year. And then this year, here I am coming into the off season, or coming into the season during the off season, and I came out with an article saying the Miami Dolphins are going to win the AFC East this year, and I got clowned on by everyone. And now here I am, we're 7-8 weeks into the season now, and all of a sudden I look good saying that. And I look good also saying that Tua. I said Tua is a dark horse for MVP this year too. I look pretty good saying that as well. So I like Tua. He's a good quarterback. I think he gets unnecessary hate because maybe he's a left-handed quarterback, which he's good. He's top tier quarterback in the league, top 10 for sure. The one thing I'm gonna say about Tua and the Dolphins as a whole is that it's hard to say like is this team actually good or not. Not Tua as a whole, because I think Tua is a good quarterback. But the thing about the Dolphins is it's hard to say if this is going to be a good team or not this year, led by Tua, because admittedly, I'm going to say this, and hopefully I don't get too much hate for this, but when you look at the wins and losses for the Dolphins this year, look at the 2 losses they have. Buffalo and Philadelphia, good teams. Look at the wins this year, too. It was what? The Chargers, the Patriots, the Panthers. Who are the other 2 teams that I'm forgetting that you guys beat? You guys are 5-2. Who are the other? I can't remember who the other 2
Giants,
are. Giants and
Carolina, Pats, Chargers.
It's basically what I'm saying is haven't beaten a good team yet this year, and it's hard to get a good read on this Dolphins team. I think they're going to win the AFC East still, because I think everyone in the AFC East outside Miami is they're a hot mess. I think the Bills are a hot mess. Obviously, the Jets were a hot mess after 4 plays into their season. The Patriots still think it's 2003 for some reason. It's the Dolphins' division to lose. I think it's a fair assessment, though, is they need to beat a good team in order for me to really say, all right, I think this team can win it all, and I think Tua can lead the way. Because I think Tua is a good quarterback. I think Mike McDaniel is the right coach for Tua. It's just now I want to see the result. Now I want to see Miami go out and beat a good team. Unless this one team that we can't think of is actually a good team.
Oh, I really like Matty, but Matty, it's a little too soon for the 700 concussions.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
but it's like,
I was like, Matty's a great guy. Then he came with that.
All right,
here's the.
I mean, listen, I don't wish injury upon anyone. When he had that concussion against Cincinnati last year, I genuinely felt so bad for him. Because he's a good young quarterback in the league, and I genuinely thought, oh man, like this is going to do some damage to his career, and I feel bad because I think he really has a chance at the end of his career. Hopefully, it's not cut short with injury or anything like that. But if he's able to have a nice, healthy career for the rest of his career, at the end of the day, he could be one of the all-time Dolphin greats. I think by the end of it.
Well, Matty, what I will say is this about the playing and winning against good teams. I think I agree. I think though the script for the Finns is setting up perfectly because beating teams, beating bad teams, you don't want to put too much attention to the team. That might be a little distracting. So you got to be humble at certain points of the season. You see the vision that I'm going with? So you get humbled a little
I see
bit.
where you're going.
You
Yeah.
got people, you get people to doubt you. They're just pretenders. Let's just ignore them. And then boom, December comes. You got a bunch of difficult games, and you start winning those difficult games. And you get the attention when? During the playoffs, when it matters the most. So I like where we at. The script
I like where
for
you guys
me,
are at too.
You know what I'm saying? So as we get healthy and December comes and we're gonna play a little bit more better teams, teams that we still have a chance to prove that we can beat that are really good. Then right there is the right time for us to be noticed.
I will say this, and I've been saying this since the schedule came out. I think the Germany game against the Chiefs, I think you guys are going to roll the Chiefs. I've been saying this the entire time. There's no way Tyreek Hill doesn't have a 200-yard receiving day that day. There's no way.
Yeah.
That's not my hatred towards the Chiefs either. That's just me actually being honest, where I think the Dolphins are better than the Chiefs this year, despite what the records are and all that. And also now there's an extra flame towards anyone who beats towards the Chiefs because of the whole Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift stuff. So anyone who beats the Chiefs,
That is so.
they get a pass in my book.
It seems like it's like a distraction over
Oh.
there with the whole Taylor Swift thing. It's like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But Matty, the thing is, like, what's funny to us, before the other teams had lost, they downplayed us losing to good teams and beating up on teams that wasn't as good as us. But then they lose to you, the Bills lose to you, and the 49ers lose. So to me, I'd rather have my team beating up on the teams guys struggle with. And yeah, we don't beat the elite teams yet. Like we like I told my fan base, like when you have 6 starters out, not my fan base, our Dolphins
I got
fan
you.
base,
No, I
excuse me.
got you. I got you.
I said I all I wanted to see was effort. Like if we win, I'm gonna be happy. But if we lose in game week 7, 6 starters out that we love on this team, we know our ballers. I can't be mad. And then the refs hold us out and all that. Like I get it. Like I get we're fans and we're passionate and it hurt. I was mad. I couldn't even sleep. And I work at night. And I was up the whole next day. Like because it hurts as a fan knowing your team is better and finally has a shot and to lose like that. And then I was like, bro, if our guys was there, yeah, it's football. Players got to play, and this guy has to step up. But we're not to the point where we can be out 6 starters and win against a team that's 5-1. We're not there yet. We have to take that. And there's nothing wrong with that because we're almost there. That's what I want, my people to understand. We're almost there. The fact that we're at this point that we can feel like that, like, bro, if A-Chan was there, Connor was there. Like, we know we whooping them if Connor Williams was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what that we all agree on. We know that's why it's a big deal if he doesn't play because we know. But then he don't play and we're mad at the team because they didn't win. Like, they need to get – that's what we trying to tell them. Like, they don't understand from an outsider. Can you please explain how hard it is trying to win with 6 key starters not in a lineup on the road against a good team, whether they struggling at the time or not? I don't care if they lost to the Jets. They still 4-1 at the time, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like we was happy about being 5-1. You see what I'm saying?
No,
So
I
why
got you.
wouldn't
I'm
they be
picking up what
confident?
you're putting down.
They was talking
And
about Jalen Carter coming back. They was getting their guys back. We're getting guys taken out.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah, and it was an important game for them because they lost to the
right.
Jets and they had to get it
Mm-hmm.
back in blood. And it's funny too because back in the day before Mike McDaniel, we were criticized for losing against bad teams. So now that we're kind of at this point that we're winning against the bad teams, and winning in a big margin, now it's downplayed. So like even some of our fan base, feel that way. But I hope they don't forget about when we were criticized for losing against teams we weren't even supposed to lose in the first place.
I respect everything you guys have said. I mean, I think right now, too, being a Pats fan, this is a time where it's like, all right, we really got to humble ourselves. We just had this historic 20-year run that may or may not ever be repeated again. It's just, I think there's a lot of Patriots fans out there who don't know how to act right now. And I think everything that you guys just said, I think years from now, Patriots fans should go back and listen to everything that you guys just said.
Matty, man, appreciate you for being here,
I
man.
appreciate
What are
you
you
guys for
working
bringing me.
on? Yeah, man, it was good conversation, man. What?
We're so scared of Abby Betts. He didn't even ask.
Of course, of course.
Look, you see that Igor's thing, man. You don't even want to ask.
You don't want to
He's
do
our
it,
bet
yeah.
guy. He always asks our guests from the right opponent the week. Did you want to do a bet or 25 push-ups or Abby bet? French, he said nothing because he got that eagle. He tied
Man. Hey, Matty,
I'm waiting on him to say it. I'm like, where's French with Nah, I thought about why he ain't did it. I looked at his Abby. I was like, yeah, he's scared.
All right, so I'm going to hit you with a hypothetical here as we wait. Usually one of our other guys asks a question, so I'm going to fill in for him. The Patriots will win if, and the Dolphins will win if. Just go ahead and fill in the blanks, in your opinion.
All right, the Patriots will win if Tyreek Hill does not play on Sunday, and the offense has another repeat performance. The Dolphins will win if the Patriots team that played the Saints a few weeks ago shows up. But also the Dolphins will win if I think the Dolphins will just win, period, after that. We don't even need to include the if I'm being honest here.
Fair enough.
Like here's the thing, guys. I'll tell you this. When a coach reached out to me and I said, "Oh yeah, cool," and I'm thinking, all right, the Bills are gonna smack us. I'm gonna have this whole thing about how the Bills just smacked us. Now we're gonna go play you guys. You guys smack us too. I had this whole monologue ready to like open up with about me, and then the Patriots went and won. And I had to get rid of the whole damn thing and have to redo it.
That is called a curveball.
Yeah, like the curveball of curveballs. When I say I did not see that win coming, I did not see that win coming. So I literally said to my girlfriend today when we were driving home from work, I said to her, I had this whole thing ready to go, and now it's like I'm mad at the Patriots for winning because now I had to think of something else to say.
Ooh, so I got one more question for you, and it's from our one of my brothers, Peasy. He asks, where were you when the Miami Miracle happened?
Oh God, where was I? All right, I gotta ask this. Just because I feel like I gotta give every detail to this one. Is this a PG podcast? Not saying it's about to be like R-rated or anything like that. Is that because thoughts will happen?
How's that? Man, you grown, man.
All right, cool. So Miami Miracle happens. I'm a senior in college when this happens. I am in the dorm room of my ex-girlfriend, laying in her bed. We're just listening to the game because things were happening, and all of a sudden, all I hear is I hear the play happening. I'm like, all right, cool. It's a Hail Mary. We'll win this game. Whatever. We're again laying down, and all of a sudden I hear I think it was Ian Eagle calling the game for CBS. He's getting more and more excited, so I shoot up immediately. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? She's getting mad at me like, who cares? It's just football. And I looked at her and I'm like, I looked at her and said, because she's a 49ers fan who they weren't good at the time. I said, you're a 49ers fan. This is more important to me right now. So, So I look and then the Gronkowski angle thing happens and Miami wins and she hits me with the classic line of, well, hey, you and the Dolphins both scored today. So I said, oh, great, thank you. Yep. So there we go. There we go. If you want my Miami Miracle experience, there you go. I don't know if many people can top that one, but there it is.
I got clap, man. That was great.
Yeah. So there we go. So that was my Miami Miracle story.
Peasy,
I thought he was going to say that's when she became my ex, but he said this was more important.
Yeah, now you asked the most important question at the end, of course. That's what always happens.
That's right.
Well, Matty, man, thank you so much again.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This was a lot of fun.
All right, boss. I appreciate you, man. I know all of us here at Inside Leverage appreciate your time and coming on with us. Hopefully, we can get you back on at some point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Whenever you want me back, of course. I'll be happy to talk to you guys again. This was fun.